Welcome to New York City, one of the most desirable and expensive cities in the world. Hundreds of thousands of people move here every year, making it incredibly difficult to rent an apartment. My name is Dari, and overall I lived in 8 countries, but it was never as complicated to find housing as it's here. And in this video, I want to talk more about renting an apartment in New York, especially if you move here from another countries, as well as show you what I got for $1,300 per month. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to press the like button for YouTube algorithm, subscribe to my channel, and let's get it started. Let me share a bit of background about my move. I was born in Russia, but in the recent years I lived in Istanbul, Dubai, Tbilisi and Barcelona, and during this time I applied for different MBA programs in the USA, and fortunately a year ago I received full scholarship to study in New York. When I moved to the city last August, I faced a big problem: renting an apartment. Even though I cooperated with a fellow student and his girlfriend to rent a place together, it wasn't easy. Everyone required many documents that international students don't have. Additionally, the apartments were rented so quickly that sometimes you didn't even have time to look at them. Surprisingly, dormitories from universities cost even more than just renting a room. But after 2 weeks of active searching, we found a very nice 2-bedroom apartment in Queens, not far from Manhattan, and we were approved to move in. And I bet you all wonder how my apartment looks like. Well, welcome to my home. When you just enter the apartment, you see a very spacious and light kitchen. I absolutely love it. I like these white walls, and also I think this was the main reason why we decided to go forward with this apartment, just because look at this, so pretty, and actually it really motivates me to cook sometimes. The most important thing here, we have a dishwasher, which is super rare for rental apartments in New York City, so it saves so much time. Here we have oven and stove, and actually it's such a useful thing because in my apartment in Moscow I didn't really bake anything, but here almost every single week something. Moreover, we have several garbage bins. We recycle here in New York City. I think it's the rule of our apartment building, and the fines can be very big, so we don't want to risk this. We have recycled paper, glass, plastic. Also, we have the garbage can number 4 for the rest of the trash. Now we are going to our bathroom. What I liked about this is that there is also natural light as in the rest of the room, so I absolutely enjoy it. And the most important thing, there is a bath. I absolutely enjoyed lying in the bath, and sometimes this is the only thing that improves my mood during the day. Now we are going to our living room, and to be honest, it's quite empty. We didn't buy much things, but at least we have here a sofa. We have here also a wardrobe with several books about jazz on top of it, because my roommate is a huge fan of it as myself, so we are quite matching this. I like that. Actually, there is a whole story about this chest of drawers. We found this on the street and dragged it home, which was very difficult and funny at the same time. We also have here a plant, yoga mat, and a board for ironing, and basically that's it. I don't know why we didn't buy much things, but it's alright. Here we have a room for my roommates, and on the right side we have my special place, my wonderful room. Absolutely love it. When I was growing in my family in Russia, I had a very tiny room, so now this room probably twice bigger. It's not as fancy. There is a mirror, my bed, also a chair, and the table for studying. On the top of the table you see my vision board. I decided to put it so I could see it every single day. You might ask me what's the total price of the apartment, and it's $3,000. My roommates are paying $1,700 and I pay $1,300 per month, and overall it might seem very expensive, especially if you're living in Europe or especially in Russia or Asia, but the fact is that New York City is incredibly expensive, and actually everybody told me how lucky we are with this option, because it's very spacious and it's very light, and it's not as far from Manhattan. There is a metro, maybe like 10 minutes walk. Usually these options cost much more, so I'm very happy about this. I would also like to note that to move into the apartment, we had to pay for the first month a deposit equal to 1 month's rent and the same amount to the realtor, and these are the usual rules, so it's definitely not cheap to rent an apartment in New York. I'm not going to lie, searching for apartment can be very stressful, and what helps me to cope with this is talking to my friends, getting some mental support from them, turning off my brain by watching some funny movie or meditating. But sometimes all of this doesn't help, especially when anxiety hits another level, and in this case it's better to talk to a specialist, and that's why now I would like you to introduce you the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp offers convenient, confidential online therapy, connecting people with a licensed therapist who can help with a wide range of issues such as anxiety, depression, or relationship problems. With a flexible scheduling and affordable prices, you will be able to get the support that you need without worrying about the inconvenient commute to the therapist office or high costs. Guys, in the description of this video, I will attach the link that will give you a 10% off of the first month using BetterHelp. So check it out yourself, see if this is something that's gonna help you. And from all my heart, I hope that you will feel better soon if you are feeling down now. Now I came to probably one of my most favorite districts in New York. This is Long Island City. Amazing area. You see here a wonderful view on Manhattan, super clean. They created an amazing park here, so lots of people from all the parts of the city just come here to spend some time. Also, if I had an opportunity to live here, I would definitely move to Long Island City. Last year I was searching for an apartment in this area, but unfortunately the prices are quite high, similar to Manhattan. That's why at this time of my life I'm not able to afford this. But if you guys looking for a great area to live in New York, definitely consider this neighborhood. It seems as something cool is always happening here, from cultural events to spontaneous dances on the streets. Additionally, there are quite a few nice bars and restaurants, but of course, the most surprising thing is this lovely park. What an amazing area. I'm so happy I was able to walk here today because my mood increased just a lot. By the way guys, please let me know in the comments if you would like me to film a separate video where I would show you the best neighborhoods in New York City. Now let's talk about rules of renting an apartment in New York City, but here I would like to mention that it can be different depending on the landlord or depending on the area in New York where you want to rent an apartment. For example, I noticed that it was much stricter in Manhattan than in Brooklyn or Queens, but the average terms are: your income per year should be 40 times higher than the monthly rent. Also, you should have a social security number. It's the most important document in the USA that usually you get when you start working here. And you should have a credit score 700 and higher. Again, usually you can get a credit score by paying with American credit card from 6 months and more. So as you could notice that it's becoming much more complicated when you're an international student. And in this case, the first solution gonna be having a guarantor. Usually it's a resident in the USA who gets here an American salary, who has social security number, credit score, and etc. But in this case, he should get more than 40 times than your rent. If I'm not making any mistake, landlords were telling us that our guarantor should make 80 times higher than the cost of rent per month, and now it's becoming much more complicated to find. And on the top of that, a guarantor should live in the state where you want to rent an apartment. And this was a mission almost impossible. We have a guarantor, the uncle of my roommate, but he was living in another state, and that's why when we've been applying for the apartments, we've been rejected because of that. Fortunately, we found a company in Queens, and we show documents from university that we got scholarship. I'm also working at my university. My roommate also works in another place, so we have some income. Our university sent a paper showing that we have some savings, that they show some proof or that we have some money. And only after this we were lucky that this company that in Queens that we're renting an apartment with, they have many connections here. They connected with the landlord. We showed all the documents. I think we talked. It was also like, a personal touch that probably the landlord like us. and that's how we rented an apartment. But it definitely wasn't easy. By the way, here are the websites where we've been searching for apartment. Perhaps it's gonna help you. Another option that we had, it was subleasing a room. For example, there were some guys rented an apartment in the city, they show all documents, they sign contracts, and then one is moving out. So what you do, you are coming to this room where he's moving out, and usually it's easier. I don't want to make any mistakes, but not always you need to show all these documents that I mentioned before. And you just pay some deposit to the person who lives here, and you continue living in this room while another person just move out. We didn't really want this with my roommates because we kind of matched and we wanted to rent just something for us without, having extra roommates. But it was an option, and probably this is something that is going to wait me in a few months, but about this I'm gonna talk later. Another option that I found out later, it's renting a room not far from university, because usually in this case landlords, they already know that students are coming. It can be a bit cheaper than renting in other places. And if I'm not making a mistake, especially if you're an international student, they don't require as much documents, but the acceptance letter from university, maybe your scholarship. Also, some of the international students that I know, they paid for first time, like first monthly payment, and also a deposit, and that's how they moved in. So yeah, here are the rules. Guys, I hope it was useful for you. And now I would like to reply to the question that probably some of you will have, is why I have not chosen to live in the dormitory of my university. And guys, trust me, it was my first choice. It will be much easier. But here in the USA, they have very strange system that I completely don't understand, is that it's much more expensive to live in the dormitories, either just renting an apartment. For example, I already got a grant to study in Austria during my undergraduate, and the cheapest option, it was to live in the dormitory. And this is how I used to live there. But in the USA, the prices are much higher for that. And I didn't believe it, even though some other international students who studied in the USA told me about this, until I had a call with the representative for my university. And when we discussed housing, I was shocked to find out that to rent a room in the dormitory, even though I wouldn't have any roommates in the same room, but I will have from 3 to 5 flatmates with whom I'm gonna share a bathroom and also kitchen. It turned out that it costs more than $2,000. If I'm not making a mistake, I think I calculated it was around $2,100 per month. And it's located far away from Manhattan in New York, next to University in Queens. This is crazy, and on the top of that, I'll have to move out during the winter and summer breaks. I either pay double to stay there. And of course, I didn't plan to go anywhere during the breaks and to stay in the city. That's why it was just crazy for me. It was much cheaper just to rent a room or an apartment in the city. And yeah, that's how I decided to do this. So guys, if you are moving to the USA for studying, please consider this fact and start looking for a room immediately, and probably no dormitory. And now, in the end of this video, I would like to share a little bit of sad news. Probably some of you who watched my previous live stream already know about this, and unfortunately, I'm moving out from this apartment. The thing is that my roommates, they already established their life in the city a little bit, and they wanted to rent something just for themselves, which makes sense, perfectly understandable. And I'm on the other side. I was accepted with a scholarship in one summer program in Europe, where I will go for a little bit more than a month. Also, I wanted to visit my family outside of USA, and I will be out of the country for several months, and just to pay for the apartment when I'm not going to live here, it didn't really make sense for me, because it will be quite a lot of money. And later, searching for a roommate, it can be a little bit more complicated, and in this case, this apartment gonna cost me more than I would be willing and can afford paying. And after calculating pros and cons, I decided that the best thing so far is going to be to move out. So in a few months you can expect more vlogs searching for apartment in New York City. You will see the difference what I experienced from when I just moved here without experience and after 1 year of living. Probably in this case I'm gonna sublease a room somewhere. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already, so you wouldn't miss the upcoming vlogs about renting an apartment in New York City. And please don't forget to press the like button if you enjoyed this video. It's very important for YouTube algorithm, and I'm gonna see you already pretty soon. Probably next vlog is going to be moving out vlog. I will show you the storages, the cost of it, and etc. So I'm gonna see you very soon. Bye bye.